Happy New Year and welcome to January's deep dive. Just wanted to start off to say we're super happy to have you here, and here's to fresh beginnings and to making the most out of our 2026 this year. So, for those of you who are new, welcome. And for those of you returning, welcome back. Our Founders Deep Dive is where Ty and I look back on last month's Spotlight feature, introduce you to this month's Spotlight guest, and dive into a topic that gets to the heart of the journey behind the brand. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected because here we share it all, the highs, the lows, and everything in between with regards to entrepreneurship and professionalism. To start off, I'm Starah Dixon, founder of Mitsu's, your destination for thoughtfully designed decor that blends luxury with meaning. This year, Mitsu's, I'm excited to say, is evolving into something even more dynamic, a space that celebrates artistry, craftsmanship, and intentional design on a deeper level. What began as a collection of statement pieces is growing into a platform where creativity and connection meet, helping you design a home that feels powerful, personal, and anything but ordinary. Kicking it off to you, Mai Tai.
Hey guys, for those who don't know me, my name is Tysheda. I am the Signature Global Experiences Architect. I work with founders and CEOs to create transformation retreats worldwide, brand experiences, and strategies for those who are ready to expand their brand presence and peace. Whether you're building your first retreat or fifth, reimagining your brand, or simply craving clarity, you're in the right place. Here, we design with purpose, lead with alignment, and raise with intention. And to go on that note, if you haven't caught it last month, definitely you want to definitely rewatch. The link will be below. Jacqueline was amazing in terms of really kind of honing in to not only her brand, but her story. If you followed it, if you watched it, she really goes into all of the struggles and things that she had to go through between having the support, not having the support, really leaning on her husband. It was so many different things. And a lot of the stuff that she went through was a lot that a lot of founders that have different personal, professional, a lot of different roadblocks and things that are going on, but you never really see it or you hear about it. You just see kind of like what's on the outside or the brand itself. But she really hones in on it. And she also really delivers a good message that even as female and as women, you really have to find your support. You really have to go into really where your passion is and your purpose, because that's really what carried her and her support of her husband throughout everything. It was a lot of the different things that really she was really amazing. And honestly, the work that she's doing and also with her business, she has a lot of females who work with her. She really is expanding it, and the work that she's doing for entrepreneurs, founders, or even business owners to really make sure their brand is on point. And even if you have to start with a small budget in the beginning, just to kind of get it out there, you really want to make sure you start in the beginning of it, because she really goes through the process of how starting in the beginning can really help you keep on track versus having it like years down and then wanting to rebrand it or make sure that it's looking at the quality that you're aiming for. She was phenomenal on every aspect from work, personal, and beyond. So you definitely want to catch it. Star, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to definitely add in on the appreciation that she does have with regards to her family and as a support system as well. Especially since I do feel that we all tap into, like if we have significant others, how they've basically helped affect us, but also just the fact of being a new parent, dealing with that transition, but then having a person who is able to say, hey, I see what you're looking to do. I see the goals that you're looking to accomplish. We can do this together still. That, and also going back into the idea of teach one, like passing down information. So the fact that her business is really tailored, especially towards female, like other females working for her, and just being able to mentor them while also running your own business. So I thought that was exquisite. And also to even like segue into another really, I was going to say badass. Actually, there you go. Badass other female founder. This month, we're kicking off Authentic Emissions with Jamie Hunt, co founder of Fast Penny Spirits, a woman owned B Corp certified distillery, redefining what it means to blend craft with conscious. Rooted in sustainability and inspired by the wild beauty of the Pacific Northwest, Fast Penny Spirits creates Amaro using organic and foraged botanicals, setting a new standard for purpose driven craftsmanship. Through her leadership, Jamie is proving that business can be both artful and ethical, where community, creativity, and care flow together. So her spotlight is going to be Sunday, January 25, 2026 at 4 p.m. EST. So get your notifications turned on.
Yes, definitely don't want to miss it. She's definitely such a delight, and what she kind of created and also the work that she has put in it. You when she tells you her story and how much, because she's very hands-on at the same time,
Yeah.
it's gonna be mind blowing. So definitely. And so welcome again, happy New Year's to everyone, and welcome to our January Founders Deep Dive. So, for so long, leadership has been defined by structure, strategy, and strength. But somewhere along the way, we forgot that empathy, intuition, and emotional intelligence are just as powerful. This month, we're talking about what it really means to lead with both purpose and presence. Because grace isn't weakness, it's wisdom. So, welcome to our January Founders Deep Dive Power Revolution: How Feminine Energy is Changing Leadership Today. So, Star, what are your thoughts?
I would love to start off with saying that this is a great topic, especially being that we're going to have Marian to even dive even deeper into it, where I feel like, as you were saying, a lot of corporate or business is really male centered, where even for us women in the space, it's kind of like you have to be so assertive, you have to be so like boom, 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 boom every single time. And it's like, okay, but we still do need our softness. So I believe you brought it up before. One of the ways that we're able to do that is following our intuition and also like using a lot of our grit and our passion to really further our business. For example, I remember when I first started my first business of health hires, then Med Luminary, I didn't always feel like taken seriously. And that was due to, I feel like, two things. One, especially whenever I was in front of more like male recruiters and things like that, like I felt like they were just like, here's like, a girl. And also it didn't help that I was very young when I was doing that too, because I was what, like around like 19 or whatever. So I remember just having to navigate like those spaces and just like really feel like I had to prove my point and prove my credibility. Meanwhile, I really feel like just the fact that I was doing all of those and also putting in the feminine touches did help my business grow, because then I was able to tap into the part of healthcare that has the highest like turnovers, where people are just like, no one cares about me. No one cares about if someone like, or an employer is really reviewing my resume, like, or whatever the case may be. So I was able to just put a little empathy inside of it and walk my, healthcare professionals through the process, help them get from point A to point B so that they could feel confident. I would say right now is I'm definitely in the space that is more female centered with Mitsu's, because of the fact that we're talking about putting your feelings out via art, right? So like being able to make your home make a statement and things of that nature. So I just feel like I'm in a better place where I can follow my intuitions of being like, hey, you know what? Like, I feel like this is what's going to work best for the company and just move it forward. What are your thoughts? Hold on. By the way, girl, I don't even know if that made sense all the way. Go ahead.
You were fine. No, so definitely, I definitely feel like I have, first off, we've entered just a new era in general because
Hmm.
of a lot of not only the different businesses and companies that are out there, but a lot of the work that has to be done for a lot of the positions that even females have in major
Yeah.
companies. The biggest thing a lot is there's two aspects of it. So obviously you have females in corporate or in companies, and a lot of them, no matter how much you have to look at it, there is a sense of working 10 times harder to not
Of
only
course.
just get the work out there, but almost proving, which you already know you bring to the table, but so that other people can see you and also take you as serious as someone who is like your male counterpart, which may just, they still have to work the same, they still work hard, but it's just not the same level, especially over the course of decades and decades. And I think the work ethic itself, it already comes to show. So, like, if someone sees somebody in a position where they're where they're, they may either, whether they're CEO or they're in a major executive title,
Mhm.
they've had to work their behind off to get there. And they are still working. The thing about it, it doesn't stop once they get their title, once they get their position. They're still working. And I feel like a biggest thing about it is leadership itself. I think a lot of people confuse it because leadership isn't always just about your title. It isn't also always about your control or your dominance. It's
Exactly.
about what you're bringing to the table and how you're elevating not only yourself, but your team, how you're elevating those around you, the expertise and the wisdoms that you want other people to walk away with. All of that makes a difference in when a lot of us are in roles. It's natural. Like we have a natural instinct to want to do better for not only ourselves, but if we're overseeing a team, we want them to do better too. And there are some people who may not necessarily have the tools, which sometimes a lot of time people think, oh, because someone has this title, they are meant for leadership or they're X, Y, and Z. That may not always be the case because a lot of times when a lot of people will come in there and a lot of females or a lot of people who want to make sure they can do better, they just have certain ways of actually being able to action it, being able to take it. And sometimes it's not about knowing it off the bat. It's about literally going into a situation and honestly, at the end of the day, figuring it out. And it's something that's natural for just our instincts and something of that manner. But it wasn't always like that. And it's still always a working game, even still this day and age, where sometimes you may have someone and you guys may be at the same level or you guys may be doing different things, but just because you're a female, they either one may not take you as serious or two you have to come back with like 10 times the receipts that someone else may have to do just to prove what you're bringing to the table even though you already know you do it. So that's why even when it comes into the industry of people of with females and being founders, building businesses, building up foundations, it's a lot of people are like, oh my God, wow, that's crazy. And a lot of it is the in our blood, in our like everything that we come with, we naturally want to make sure that we're not building an unstable foundation. We're not building something that is meant to come. And when we're coming to the table, we're coming with the ideals and the thoughts to build something that's not just for us, but also for the legacy we're leaving behind. Like it's so many points to it. And I feel like a lot of times when people think of like females or things like that, they'll think about, oh, okay, well, very emotional, very soft, or very things. But the thing about it is that emotional intelligence that we bring to the table is because we care more just about obviously the money, the stats, the KPIs, all that's important. But you also have to think about the people, the lives, the personal, all of that, they all hold a title. And that's not weakness. That's actually the strongest thing you can have to build something to the extreme elevation that is meant for.
I do agree with you. I do think that it is very important too, where we also acknowledge the fact that, as you said before too, we're still trying to break the glass ceiling. And no matter what we do, sometimes like someone is not going to take us seriously, and it is what it is. For example, like I can genuinely say that I've seen it even with messaging. Two people sending the same exact message, let it be a guy, and all of a sudden there's like a response. And meanwhile, there's a female saying the same exact thing, and it's just like, crickets or like. So it is something that I do feel that we're battling, and I do feel that it is important to also know when to, for example, for those who are a lot softer just naturally, just doing some research and maybe like some reading, and also talking and networking to other people who are in higher positions or doing things in the same or similar verticals as you, to like learn how they can, stand up for themselves, for example, because you should be able to be yourself in full. And if you're very soft, like that is fine, because as we said, that is one of your power moves right there. But also know when not to be taken advantage of, and know not to diminish yourself or even just like undershine yourself just because you're kind of like, I don't want to like shake any tables. Sometimes the baddest queens are the ones who are usually shaking the tables and
Yeah.
making sure that everybody knows that they walked inside of a room.
Yes.
So, yeah, so it's being able to use your power in whatever sense of the way that makes you feel the strongest. What, yeah, like those would be the main things, at least for me.
No, I do agree with you, especially because even with the feminine energy, it doesn't always mean being soft, but even if you're soft, then you almost kind of have to, and again, this comes back to one of our other past videos of finding your community and finding your tribe, because you just have to work it into your power move on how you can lead. And same thing like Star said, without being taken advantage of, because even with the quote, if you want to say being soft, that's who you are. That's you don't
Mhm.
ever want to change it. You don't want to lose it because a lot of times, even with that, that's you're moving with intention, grace, strength, all of those important characteristics. You are just needing to shift it so it can work into your benefit and making sure that you're still taking the steps you need, but without losing yourself or having to try to change yourself because you don't want people to think that you're soft or you're weak. No, like all that stuff goes out the door. The thing is
Mhm.
you just need to make sure that you're using it to your advantage and being very strategic in your next move so that you're not only disrupting tables when you walk into the room, they know you entered it and they know that you mean business. And you can mean business. That doesn't mean being angry, doesn't mean being mad, doesn't mean causing a whole fit. It means
Mhm.
that when you walk into the room, they know you, they see you, and they know she is someone that is on standing on all her grounds and she means
Standing on
whatever she says.
business. Yeah, and I feel like there are even two parts within this, right? So like with that, like there is a sense of like reframing directness. So like be because I feel that at times we feel the need to be like, I'm so sorry, like I don't want to inconvenience you, but it's like being direct doesn't make you harsh. It just makes you clear. And I
Yes.
really do wish that we can at some point get out of, specifically when speaking of women, the idea of like if that person is being direct, they're being a B word, or like they're being so stuck up. It's like, no, we don't say that whenever our counterparts are doing the exact same thing.
No.
So like we should be able to have grace as well. And also I do want to like go back on the conversation about the power of like soft authority, because again, going back to like you can be firm and decisive while still remaining calm, composed, and approachable. Like I feel like there's a world where like soft usually just means like you roll over, and it's like, no, it just means I know how to navigate this situation very well. Like you're not going to just do something to me or say something to me and I'm not going to like react accordingly to it, professionally but
No,
accordingly.
no,
um
I definitely agree with you. Yeah, no, definitely that it means a lot, but also it's one of those things where because like I know like me personally, like if I'm depending on where I am and depending on who I am, like I'm like if I do something, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, X, Y, and Z. But you
Mhm.
can guarantee when I mean business and when
Right.
I'm going somewhere, I'm doing something that's for a particular purpose, the mindset it changed. Like it's
Mhm.
one of those things where, and it goes back to kind of like what I said before, like emotional intelligence is a leadership superpower because you have to be able to read the room, understand the people who you're
Yes.
with, understand who is there with you, and then you change how you're like almost how you're trying to move accordingly after that because you're thinking but you're thinking with your emotions. Emotions aren't bad. Emotions are something that makes you human. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're human. We're all human. Like let's be honest. But it's making sure that the same way as you're caring about who's in the room, making sure that it's beneficial to them, making sure that it's in it, whether you're in the room, whether it's on a call, whether it's virtually, or whether it's just around people in general. Like you have to understand, like I think a lot of people have lost sight of the fact of people are people. Like
Yes.
sometimes people don't really think that who they're talking to is another person on the other side of the phone, another
Right.
person, and that at the end of the day, words can hurt and words and sometimes your words are just because of how you're feeling at the moment, but being able to understand there's a lot of people who have so much leadership skills and superpowers and they don't have nowhere near the titles that they should be having, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just because it could be whether it could be because of their gender, it could be because of the color of their skin. It's a whole range of
You're
reasons.
all of it.
But
Mhm.
it's the thing about is being a leader is you can have all leadership skills and not have the title at all or the pay that should match the type of person that you are. But along if you know you have the intuition to make those decision makings, you have empathy, which is so important because you want to treat people how you want to be treated, but you want to be able to, just like Star says, you want to be able to stand on business. You want to truly be able to listen, to be able to hear, whether it's your team, clients, even collaborators that you want to work with, or
Mhm.
even just in general with people who you want. You can't expect to have people in your circle and people in your community that you want to be able to give this energy if you're not giving the same energy to them.
Right. Yeah. Creating a safe space for people to feel validated, basically. And again, that goes back to like one of the very big strengths. Say that you were right in also the fact that the person that you are seeing is also not the person that is actually there, like whether it's virtually or like in person. Because yes, everyone has something going on in their lives and you don't know like what that is necessarily. So it is one of those things where it's like be kind to one another. And also, a lot of the times too, and I feel the same would be for you, where it's like people are interested in our businesses because of the fact that, especially once they meet us and they're like, oh my God, like this person was so like kind or bubbly or X, Y, and Z. And it's like, yeah,
Yes.
like, and that's why you want to, you know what I mean? So it is an advantage over just being very stoic, very like, I'm not going to show any face, I'm not going to show any mercy. It's like, what am I going to win from there? Nothing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And also too is and the same thing like you said before. It's a balance too, because like you're bringing your feminine energy, but also at the same time you're standing on business. So
Mhm.
it's a balance because you're using your skills and what you have internally, listening to, your inner thoughts, listening to who
Yeah.
you are, and at the same time you're there so that you can make sure that you can handle your team, making sure that you can handle your clients because you have your emotional intelligence, you have your empathy, you're using all of those skill sets to build. And let's be honest, like a lot of times people like to work with people who are genuinely caring and not genuinely caring in terms of like
Yeah.
the mushy and gushy. I'm talking about genuinely caring, meaning that they care about your business, they care about the results you're getting, they care about the clients, they care about how them helping you is going to turn out because they know that you have their best intentions. It's not a money game. It's not about how much you're making. It's not about what you're going to give to them. It's about what they can truly do for you and be able to help you at the same time.
Yeah, especially when it comes to employees for a business, you're usually not quitting the business, you're quitting the manager. Like, like you're kind of like,
Hello.
you're a horrible person. Like, why should I even be here? Versus when you can have, like, meaning the employees can have empathy for, like, whatever the business is going through and, like, build on a mentality of, like, community and actually, like, coming together kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So,
the last thing I did want to say is a lot of times, even as people or as us, when we're building or we're creating something, whether it's your team or your business, right, we're trying to think about what we're passing down, what legacy are we leaving, what are we building to create to not only just help people, whether it's cultures, whether it's humanity, like it's a rippling effect. And everybody helping there, everyone of all the people in the world, everyone has such amazing skill sets and has so many things that they can really do, and being able to take the emotional side, the spiritual side, the stuff, the unapologetically authentic self, and being able to pass that to one human being for another, because everyone, just like Star says, has something going on. And knowing that what they're doing for you is not their only job or what you're trying to help them, you want to make sure that you're delivering so that people truly have a safe space to be able, when they have those hard times, they can come back and they can talk to you. Or even if you have clients, and making sure they're coming back because they know that even though they have a lot going on, you care about their overall, whether it's their business, whether it's their family, you're caring about that. And that is like the biggest superpower anyone could ever have.
and again, going back to one thing from the start, lean into your femininity. Like, it is not something that you need to be hiding away
Nope.
lean in of leadership isn't defined by dominance, obviously, but by depth is basically what we're saying, where compassion becomes strategy and grace becomes strength. So, question for you to sound off in the comments actually is, how has your feminine energy transformed the way that you lead? If today's conversation sparked ideas or gave you a new perspective, hit the like button, subscribe button, and tap the bell to turn on your notifications so you never miss a moment of radical confidence and real talk. So while you're here, drop a comment and with topics or founders you'd love to see in the next Authentic Ambitions episode. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and stay inspired and feminine.
Bye.
Bye.